I think that the first
egg came first.
I think
to give birth, so the chicken could come out, and then the chicken can have more eggs.
But where would the eggs come from?
Oh yeah, but if you think about it, an egg is going to become a chicken, but it's being but then the chicken's going to would be an egg. So if you think about chickens after the eggs, I think egg comes first.
Yeah, but maybe the chicken might have come from another animal, like a rooster. It's
confusing.
There's sterile waters somewhere, and the volcanic chemicals and all that have started life, and then we've evolved from that. What I do find hard is the fact that we've actually evolved from something so minuscule, like so microscopic, to the dinosaurs, to us.
I think that we come from some kind of chemical explosion that caused some form of life to be created, and that we eventually slithered out of the sea, and it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually we're going to be extinct.
I think we are a process of evolution. I think we are not the top of the pinnacle, we are just a branch, I think.
Yeah, I'm completely conscious of the fact that I'm actually just a cloud of potential, of which primarily water molecules. If you looked at me across time, you would see a cloud of water molecules form and momentarily become brine and then move off again.
I can't bring myself around to thinking we came from the sea.
No, I don't think great-great-granddad was a fish.
Slimy then, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure that we came from the sea, most definitely, because it just seems, when I get into water, I naturally want to start frolicking, and I think that must mean that so we came out of the sea and crawled onto land for some reason. I don't know why, and it's a shame. I think it'd be great if we all went back to being aquatic.
I don't know. I think we're more likely to have originated from on land, because we haven't got we've got gills, haven't we? But maybe,
Well, they're always looking for this missing link, aren't they? And they've never found it yet. The connection between us and monkeys. I mean, what sort of idiot wants to prove he's come from a monkey?
The difference between me and a monkey would be mainly that monkeys, they live in the jungle and I live in Catford.
There's a train of thought that says that we came to this planet thousands, hundreds, millions, whatever, years ago, and in fact already did colonise this planet as an alien race.
I do incline to think maybe we did start from another planet, maybe we did come from another planet.
I'd love to see aliens or something similar on our planet. I think it would be great to see how we kind of interact with them, whether they'd be similar to us or not very similar or something like that.
Would they be good golfers?
Humans were created by this giant cosmic cow licking a stone, and as it licked this stone, the humans rolled off.
Looking at birds evolved from dinosaurs. Yeah, probably could have done, because they did actually have wings, didn't they? Some dinosaurs years and years ago, didn't they? So that was the size of the dinosaur, and how do you get something like a sparrow or a little wren or something like that from something that's absolutely ginormous, this huge, great sort of dinosaur?
I don't know really. I don't remember really
given it much thought.
Yeah, where'd you get these questions from?
Well, you know, your evolution, that's all a load of rubbish, isn't it? It's not true, is it? It's a load of rubbish. How can you possibly evolve a set of wings? It's not going to happen, is it? I mean, I'd like a set of wings. I'd love a set of wings. In fact, if I could have anything, I'd definitely have a set of wings. But it wouldn't matter how many times I jumped off a tall building, I'd never grow wings. And even if I jumped off a tall building and then my child jumped off a tall building and his child jumped off a tall building and we did that forever and ever and ever, there is not the slightest chance that wings would grow out of my back.
We all started off much the same kind of thing. We all were waddling along on our bellies to begin with. Then we grew arms and heads and legs, and some of us got up and walked, and some of us stayed down crawling around. No, I'm glad I've evolved the way I am. I wouldn't like to have been further back in the evolutionary scale.
I think we've evolved to our full potential. I think we have.
Possibly.
It's hard to...
Maybe not on an intellectual basis, because
well,
every
I
day
don't know, it's hard to,
more and more.
hard to see how you can improve further, isn't it?
We'd be able to do some good tricks if we had a couple more legs. I'm sure we'd be able to work out some new stunts for the show, so that could be a positive advantage, definitely at this stage.
Depends whose legs they were, doesn't it, really?
I think, obviously we'd adapt in whatever way if we had extra legs, but...
We were, wouldn't it? If you had 6 legs, where would your arse be?
Yeah.
I don't know whether physiologically we're developing.
The only thing I can think of is that because we have such stressed lives, we're much more aware of exercising to release the stress, and so we're getting more toned bodies than we might have had.
I've got as far as I'd like to evolve as I am at the moment.
I'm searching, you know what I mean?
Aren't we all?
Maybe one day I'll just wake up and think, I have evolved.
One day we think you got there, the next minute you get run over.
That's it, game over. You know what I mean?
I regard myself as a kind of ego-driven space-time meat vehicle, and I'm in the centre as the driver, trapped inside the folly of the monkey ego. But I accept that its limitations, but I know that the truth is that it's actually just a space-time version of a larger hyperdimensional information field.
Oh, jeez.
I just think, at the end of the day, it's about genetic transport. Basically, we're just hauling genomes along in a bag, which is our body, from century to century. I think that's what it's all about, folks, you know?
It's noticeable we don't get cold winters anymore. They're just wet. So, we might survive another one.
All green and slimy with googly eyes. Googly eyes and little thingies that go up in the air with round bits on the end. Antennae. Yeah, with a spaceship.
I don't believe in aliens, really. I don't believe in strange people and strange creatures and strange anything, because God wouldn't create anything that's not perfect and that's abnormal and strange.
No, I don't believe there's alien life on this planet. I believe there's something, but
don't know
what we don't know. But I believe there's something that we've not been told about that.
What do you mean if aliens existed? Aliens do exist. Everybody knows aliens exist.
I think if aliens existed, I would think they're about that small. Some of them, these are the good ones, that small, and they have quite a big head, and they're very good at sums, and they have small legs and arms.
I've no idea what aliens would look like. They could look like anything. They might just be a ball of gas, or an idea, or a particular coloured light.
The whole conspiracy thing about aliens is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, why on earth
Why on earth would they visit us to fly around in some farmer's back garden in the back end and beyond in Suffolk to just bugger off again? It just doesn't make sense whatsoever. And the whole thing about UFOs in the sky is just beyond me.
Well, what is a UFO?
You know what a UFO is?
What does it stand for?
I can't remember. Something. What is it?
An unidentified flying object. No, I've never seen one of those. I don't even know what one is.
So anything that you don't identify that flies past you is a UFO, isn't it? So basically, if it's a bird that you don't recognise, what's that? You get the book out, you can't identify it. That was a UFO, wasn't it?
No, you're being silly.
I've seen a UFO at a time when UFOs were being sighted in Lancashire. People were saying they had flying saucers going over the rooftops in a suburb of Bolton. And one news reporter claimed to have taken a photograph, but whether it was a genuine photo is another thing.
I came beginning of May in 1984 because it's a beautiful planet. You can see it from quite far. It looks very attractive.
It's not as striking, the difference that people expect when they ask, how different is it than home? I mean, you hate to lapse into this whole stereotype about how the English people are who live around me.
We have radionic equipment, which we call spiritual energy radiators, which have been in operation now for over 30 years. Every unselfish action is potentized by spiritual energy radiators.
You have here like shopping centers, which are like community centers nowadays. Yeah. You have people on Saturday take their children to shopping center, like probably that's one of the elements of care and community programs they have now. They develop, strong enough medication so they can keep you quiet and you can just walk around and look at the bright, shiny things.
Yeah.
Makes you happy.
I mean, they make these models of aliens. I mean, how can they make models of aliens when they've never ever seen aliens? You know what I mean? Is that is that a fuss?
Yeah,
but is it?
Yeah,
you
but
know what I mean?
You're allowed to have that imagination, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, how can they mould an alien when they've not seen an alien?
Well, if somebody asks you what's an alien look like...
Well, I couldn't tell them because I don't know, because I've never seen one.
If they say, right, what do you think it looks like?
Well, again, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't know.
Yeah, but wouldn't you have a go at saying, I think they might look like this, or...
Well, they could be 2 foot tall.
Well, I think a lot of the portrayal of aliens comes from people who say they've seen aliens or they've been beamed up by aliens. Some of these stories people come out with.
Do you think they are stories, or do you think they're true?
There's no doubt in my mind that these people have had an experience.
No, I think that's nonsense, to be honest. I think people have either had too much to drink or they've just got very imaginative imaginations.
I reckon they've been on some sort of wacky-backy type stuff, I reckon, if they're saying they've been abducted by it. So
they glow in the dark, like,
The first few months in this country, I had to learn that you do not kiss everybody to say hello. And I did with the postman. I opened the door, there was the postman, I gave him a kiss on his cheek twice or whatever. And he was absolutely shocked.
I've loved the weather here. And I know that sounds crazy because everyone always complains about the weather here. Oh, it's very temperate. Living in the city, you hardly ever have a freeze. And when you do have snow, it's pretty and it melts when it hits the ground, which is ideal.
Yeah, I reckon there's quite a few of them roaming around the planet at the moment. And
Well, I think just the opposite. To be honest, I don't think at this particular time aliens do not exist. Until someone comes up with the proof that they are existing.
There's a lot of proof that they exist on other planets, isn't there?
You know, it may not be kind of like we might be looking at sort of
other looking at things in other dimensions, other planes. Doesn't have to be travelling through long distances, things like the elves and the fairies.
Wacky people. Wacky people. Real strange.
This is home, everything is a bit upside down, but that's the way it is.
But it's becoming level.
I've learned that it's very important to be polite.
Yes.
You have to remember to say certain amount of thank yous and sorries. You have to say sorry to people you shouldn't really say. You walk on the street and there's a person walking in front of you.
Yes.
And suddenly those two people perform a dance saying sorry, and you don't know which way to move.
Yes.
I think that was something which I felt a bit bemused by that.
Yes. Mainly, I just watched Jeremy Paxman.
Now, as to whether they visited us or not, recently, I couldn't tell you. They might have. Who's to say they ain't here now?
My theory is we came from another planet.
It's just pants. I don't believe in it.
I was wondering what you think about communication.
Communication?
It's a difficult one, that, isn't it?
Sorry?
I say that's a difficult one.
I wasn't listening.
No.
No.
Describe communication.
What is communication? Go on. You don't just start so much. We do speak the language of it.
You got the easy bit.
The question again.
I remember the question.
The only thing that you can say about me is I speak lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, and sometimes you can see this in the faces of the people that are around that I don't let them speak now.
You're Australian, not Australian, I know whether Irish or French, I don't know what he was, I think. He come from a bloody broad, but he said a job of what he's bloody talking about half of the time, but he could speak a little bit of Asian, but not a bloody lot.
I just can't imagine that from an UG we've got, such a, like French, for example. French is very sophisticated, isn't it?
Well, French isn't actually as sophisticated as UG, if you ask me, but there you go, that's my view of the French.
There are people that say that the French, aren't very sophisticated, and there's other people that say they are, but an UG, if the French language came from that, it's a bit surprising, really, isn't it?
It would be UG, wouldn't it?
No.
There's a thing in Newcastle where everybody's called man, even a woman. If you're talking to a woman, you're going, "Alright, man." If I'm talking to my mother, I'll say, "Who, man?" But that's my mother. My mother's not a man. But so doing here, I've said that a couple of times, and it just slipped out. I'll say, if it's a woman or somebody pushes in, they say, "Who, man? Who you pushing?" Say, "I'm not a woman. I'm a man." I say, "Now you're a woman, man."
Urban is the new language. Look at bling. Who's saying bling now? Everybody! Bling!
It's not just about the language, though. There's body language, isn't there? Which is
there is body language, I suppose, which is universal.
And I can tell by looking at you right now that you're looking a little bit edgy, a little bit nervous, and even though I speak the same language as you, I didn't need to know that in order to tell that.
Would you agree that 80% of communication is non-verbal?
Just thinking about that one.
Well, you were looking at me then and communicating. You were frowning a little bit, so you were communicating, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And I read your face to say that...
Yeah, I guess you could say, 80% is non-verbal.
Yes. Well, it's 100%, isn't it, if you're a North Sea diver mending oil rigs?
I'm just not biting.
As far as communication goes when we're working sheep, it can either be vocal or whistle. So, to go left, and it goes round to the right, and that turns the sheep to the left. And that's how it works. It's communication between three different animals.
Now that's a cuckoo. That's a cuckoo that you can call a cuckoo in with that. That does that call twice, and then you have to wait, and the cuckoo that will reply back to you, and then you do it again twice, and that will bring the cuckoo all the way as close as you want. That you can call them in, and then of course you shoot them.
You know when a donkey's unhappy. If a donkey's bad-tempered, it will lay its ears right down like that. Bad-tempered. When they're happy, their ears are usually up or slightly forward like that. But if they're laid right down like that and they're swishing their tail like she is now, that's showing aggression. But their ears have got to be down, right flat on their body to show aggression. But normally they're straight up again, like hers, look. They're straight up. Or just flopped out to the side, like that. They flop them out to the side. You think they're up. But then they'll flop them out. But they're all up, pricked up, looking happy, like that. But that's the only thing, you've got to watch a donkey when she lays her ears right down like that.
Don't whisper things. Don't defeat the object.
Do you have like communication issues between you?
No. We just don't talk.
It's all about knowing.
I tend to be quiet, don't I? I don't do much or say much if I'm...
Or you go, if you're angry, Wayne, you go, You always know, and I say to Paul, oh, Wayne's got a grumpy on.
On your nose, look, see? Oh, that was a good one, wasn't it?
I always thought they were being aggressive.
No, that's showing affection. Now that's something you should put your hand in her mouth, look.
I make noises usually in the place of words. What kind?
You make up loads of
Just
baby talk.
yeah, in the middle of things and things like that. But you understand, don't you, Bab?
And you say things like, I banged my knee.
Alright.
I wouldn't recommend everybody to do it, but no, you put your hand in your mouth. Yeah, show her your tongue. Let's see your tongue. Come on. Show me your tongue. I want to see your tongue. There he is. Look, I got him. Come on, I want to see your tongue. There you go. There's your tongue.
They don't mind you doing that?
No, I wouldn't recommend him. No, I wouldn't say you do it, but no, they just trust me. You say that's what it is.
When you need communication, I mean, it doesn't matter that you don't speak the language or you don't speak because you are blind or you don't hear. I mean, it's something you need to live. You need to communicate. You need to communicate with someone. There's something you need or something someone needs and needs to communicate with you. So it's something really, it's really important. The communication is something.
You have to be positive. You have to talk. You must love one another. You must understand. You must communicate. You must read books.
Yeah, real man. And we out. Peace.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brian. Okay.
I've been like that. I've been cut like some people cut me like that. And you know, why are you speaking so very fast? And just ain't so you talking too loud today. I can't hear what you've been talking about. Then you've got the trouble. I should turn around and you must be bloody deaf then.
If there's something that annoys you, something that gets on your nerves, something that is the one thing that sets you off, that is a pet hate.
Pet hates. What I hate, pet hates. I don't hate too much. I'm annoyed by certain things, so can we go for pet annoyances? Yeah, instead of hates. Yeah, that's better.
Of someone someone who's a noisy eater.
Oh, yes.
That really annoys me.
Like that, Joan. Yes, like that.
Oh,
That's
God.
annoying. The
Mhm.
pair of these are annoying.
Very nice, Sean.
Please, you enjoyed it?
Yes, it was
Yes.
very nice.
At the expense of our ears. Frustrating the life out of her. I burst a couple of blood vessels there.
I don't like that
Yes,
at all.
Joan, that's a pet hate.
Already
Doing
got
it
plenty.
again?
Yeah, annoyances.
Annoyances.
Yeah, what annoys you? You. Okay, fine. I think that wraps up that question. Can we move on to the next one now?
No, let's elaborate. Let's find out why I find you annoying.
It is very self-righteous, actually.
No.
You
No,
are.
I'm
You
not
always
having
think
that.
you're right.
No, no,
I like to
no.
get the last word.
No, that's not right.
Well, I think you do think you're right.
No, I've changed a lot.
But there you're doing it now. Saying I'm wrong, so you're right.
Well, I'm hardly going to say, oh yes, I am self-righteous.
Not in a horrible way, though.
Oh, what's a nice way of being
I
self-righteous
don't know, it's
then?
just you. I'm just used to you being like that.
Right. Self-righteous? No. No.
What do you think about speed cameras?
Eating?
Speed cameras.
Sorry.
Speed cameras.
Nope. Don't get it.
Do you know what speed cameras are?
Cucumbers.
I don't drive myself, but if everybody obeyed the rules, the traffic would go much better and everybody would get there quicker. Like on the motorways, this happened travelling back from Snowdon. We were sticking to the rules and regulations of 40 miles per hour and there were still cars coming past and I was shouting and cheering to the speed camera saying, "Get that one, get that one."
Speed cameras.
Bees, honey.
No, speed cameras. You know, to catch cars if they go.
Oh.
Yeah, speed cameras.
No.
Because I can't stand listening to the radio, because the radio I find really irritating. I can't stand just having loads of noise in my head. I hate that. I just like to have silence in the morning, and if there's any noise, it's just me talking to myself.
Sometimes when you're talking, I feel I'm coming in a bit too quick before you finish the sentence, and I'm thinking,
We all do that.
I shouldn't have done
And
that.
the other thing is,
and
I find
I hate
myself
myself for
saying the
doing
words
it.
for you. Say the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like people breathing down my neck. No, I don't like anybody breathing down my neck. And all it makes the hairs on my back of my neck stand up if I can feel somebody breathing down my neck. Get back.
Drunk people. I hate them. They behave like a gang of wild animals who are not animals. They're loud, they shout, birds fly off. They're singing hip-hop song that doesn't make sense to anybody. And they're wearing these white trainers and walking like orangutans normally, yeah? The hands is forward, the bend, and they're going like...
It's just like if you're driving down the motorway, now they sling bleeding coke cans out the window at 60 and 70 mile an hour.
Do they?
Yeah, that's happened to me 2 or 3 times in the last couple of months. All of a sudden some practice slings a coke can out the window and it goes bouncing along at me, goes past your window about 70 mile an hour. And hope as you're driving along that the thing don't bounce onto your motor, innit? Because you end up with dents everywhere. You end up with hammer finish. Hammer finish motor.
The best thing you can do is leave traces of poo in the way, because they're actually not looking at all on the ground, they're looking at the girls around them. They step on it, they walk with it, then starting to smell. So they blame each other and they look at the sole of the shoes and that's it. They've been hit by us. Show them that you can be dangerous, but in a smelly way.
This is a funny question. What do you think your most unappealing habit
is, both of you?
Energetic.
Unappealing habit.
Unassuming habits.
Unappealing.
I've no
Sort of
idea.
nasty habits. If you've got any bad habits.
None.
None.
Oh, no, we haven't any bad habits.
No.
Bad habits. When people say something, I pretend I haven't heard them, so they repeat it again. That's a bad
What
habit.
for?
Just do it.
Dave's got some bad habits. He goes like that with his jaw. Really annoys me. Like,
Oh, Dougie does this? I mean, what good's that, anybody?
well, I don't know what Dave does. It's as if like his jaw's locked and he has to go.
God.
My habit is, and this
I
has
do
been
that.
explained to me by my children as well.
Yeah, this has been
When I
explained to me
say-
by my children.
When I say a joke, I go on to
Explain
explain.
it.
What's that?
Somebody's flushed the toilet upstairs.
I have a few bad habits. I tend to scratch a lot, and I also, unknowing to me, I tend to pass wind a lot when I'm in public, but that doesn't really worry me, because you've got to pass wind or you might blow up.
What's that mean?
Bad smells.
Yeah, that's natural, isn't it?
Not that much, isn't natural.
You've got that many bad habits. I don't know if we've got all evening to discuss them.
I don't think I have I? Hey? What bad habits have I got? Pardon you.
Pardon me.
Yeah, you can't not do it, can you? It's not like biting your nails, which you just do.
You don't have to force it so much.
Don't force it, just...
You do. Like that.
It's not true.
I hate spiders and I hate spiders and spiders and spiders.
As I say, I think we're being used by people. Our tolerance is being used by people for their own ends. I was most annoyed with the election of the last Labour Party. We weren't really bothered about what they did.
Well, the difference between cats and dogs. Cats don't wag their tail like a dog, and yes, they do. Sometimes they do. They don't go. Oh no, they don't do that. And they don't sit and go. And they don't fetch balls as well as dogs.
One's got a waggy tail and a cold nose, and the claws are like totally contracted all the time, whereas the other one contract their claws and it's got sharper teeth and pointed ears.
Which one's which?
The cats are the ones with contracted jaws and sharp teeth and the sharp pointed ears. Excuse me. I think I'm an oddity. I've got a foot in both camps, really, and I appreciate either animal for very different qualities.
I like dogs better than cats, though.
I don't.
They seem to be more friendly somehow. Dogs like greet you, whereas cats just sit, they can sleep for so long. No.
Cats can appear to be lazy, but I don't think they are.
They have big claws, like bears, and they look like bears.
They just sit about all day and get fed and go meow, 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 meow.
I find cats, they claw the carpet a lot. They're a complete nuisance, actually.
Meow, meow, meow.
I think you get more out of a dog in response.
Well, they're more
Like,
interesting, aren't they?
I think they're thicker than cats, personally.
Do you?
I do.
Meow, 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 meow. And I go, shut up.
I used to be a chaser myself, but I mean, it's about what?
It's all about competitiveness, you know what I mean? You see these blokes and like I said, they've been let off a lead. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
and
like,
then, like,
it's like
it's just more than life, man.
Watching hounds after a hare, you know what I mean? It's
I've been bitten by dogs, I've been bitten by cats, I've been bitten by... Oh, you name it, I'll claim it.
Once I was walking past a house and the door suddenly flew open and a dog with a head the size of Albania jumped out, and its teeth were an inch away from my face and its mouth was so big I could have lived inside that mouth quite comfortably, and I was nearly killed.
I've been chased by a Great Dane, a slavering big thing, and it frightened me. I've been bitten by a beagle. I've been chased by an old English sheepdog, which was, I would say that was a springboard into me becoming a Christian.
You always say dogs come sniffing at your private parts.
Do I?
That's one thing you always say.
Well, they told me they're not, that they're just being affectionate.
Dogs wag their tails to get the smell of their farts away, and the cat just walks around with its tail in the air.
Dogs I like very much because of their great intelligence and loyalty generally, and just so animated and, you know, great chums.
I don't think I've ever had fleas. I think the closest I ever got was scabies, and that was quite bad enough. You would entirely cover your body from head to toe with this alcohol solution. And there was always this sort of nagging doubt that some part of your anatomy would catch light like a fuse, and it would just be an enormous blue puff.
I think the best thing to do is to put on some flea powder, which you get from the vet. But it's probably not a good idea to have a good scratch, because that makes it red and raw and a bit rough and everything.
You know, I've never had any breed that's been a kind of a pampered, you know, pooch, you know.
They breed these mutant dogs, don't they, and give them awards for how mutated they look. And if it's a perfect mutant, it's got a pedigree. But if you crossbreed it with another mutant, it's called a mongrel.
Most pedigree dogs, to get them perfect, they've got things wrong with them. It's either the bull terrier or the bulldog can hardly breathe because they bred into them, that flattened face. It's a bulldog, isn't it? And a lot of the breeds have suffered all the short crops.
They look ridiculous with silly bowls. Looks stupid.
I'm certainly a loyal companion, but I have to say I've been let down a lot too in my life. I might be very loyal, but I do like my father said before me. He said, you trust everybody once. And that's what I do. I trust everybody once, no matter who they are. So I'm loyal to the point of disloyalty.
Cats, on the other hand, they are the clever ones. They give humans nothing.
I'm not a cat person. No, they're not loving enough, and they hiss a bit, and they don't do anything. They just wee all over the garden and leave brown stains all over the grass and just make a nuisance of themselves.
I've defecated outside, of course I have. You know what I mean?
If you step in dog mess, then it's not very hygienic, and it's not very it's just not nice.
You kind of get an antennae. The slightest thing, kind of, you know what's going on over there? Sidestep it. And if you can't sidestep it, make sure you come through it.
Because at the end of the day, cats, when they go to the toilet, they clean up and they cover up after them. And that has got to be a sign of higher intelligence.
That's a dirty, filthy business, and that ought to be stopped totally.
But I think dogs are more, for a start, I think they smell more. Whereas a cat, you can leave a cat to it. Whereas with a dog,
Yeah, but if you've got a burglar coming in your house, at least a dog makes a noise. A
yeah,
cat
but you could
wouldn't.
throw the cat at the burglar.
That's a silly thing to say. Dogs are more interesting. And that's the end of it.
No, it's not.
We'll just have to agree to disagree then.
And I've got a lovely smile, as my mum says. So, I look good for my age too.
No.
Oh.
No, I think I'm. No,